going to move into For the Culture. I don't know if you heard, but it
Mm-hmm.
seems like the parent company of BET, Paramount, is exploring a possible sale of a majority stake in BET. That just means the person or persons who win the bid will have a majority stake. They won't have sole control. And it looks like there are a lot of people lining up to purchase BET. Obviously, in my opinion, Tyler Perry's name has came up again. There's no official officials on whether or not Paramount is considering anybody, more or less Tyler Perry. But it seems like Tyler Perry has expressed interest.
Mm-hmm.
He already owns a minority stake in BET Plus, and he's got 50,000,000 shows
Shows.
on BET already.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, obviously, it seems like he would be a natural fit for being consideration. Byron Allen, who bought the Weather
Media mogul.
Channel, has sued Comcast and has a good chance in winning because of their diversity issues. It makes sense for him to want to buy BET because his whole thing is diversity. There's names like Diddy, who on the low, owns a media company in Revolt.
Revolt. Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes sense for him to be talked about again. None of these are actual, nobody's in negotiations right now,
Mm-hmm.
but these are just some of the
All
names.
rumors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, not necessarily rumors. These people have expressed interest in
Oh.
buying BET. It's not just people saying, "Oh, Tyler Perry should buy it" or
Oh,
"Diddy should
okay.
buy
All
it."
right.
No, they've actually said, we're interested. If negotiations and talks happen, we'd be interested. I guess my question is, the story. A couple other stories I've read have kind of talked about how BET is kind of like they ain't the juggernaut that they used to be. The revenues ain't double and triple year over year as compared to some of these other networks. It's kind of stagnant right about now. Um, you know, the conversation is it's like number one, who would want to buy a company that really ain't doing nothing if not on the downturn? And then two, what are people going to do with BET? What is BET right about now? Is it uplifting, powerful, entertainment for black folks to enrich and empower their lives? Is BET, stepchild for Bravo with the reality shows and some of the nonsense that they put on there? Where do people want to see BET? I kind of wanted to do that brain dump on you to kind of get your opinions on, some of these people interested in buying it and where you think BET should be, where you think it needs to be.
So, initially hearing about this, Tyler Perry, I get why he would be interested. Byron Allen, I get why he would be interested. Now, as far as Diddy, when his name popped into this, my
Mm-hmm.
first thought, I mean, it's going to be, this is shady, but I mean, it is what it is. My first thought was, did they really bring Diddy into this to try and drive up the price
Oh.
between Tyler Perry and Byron Allen? As they are serious contenders. And we know in the past that Diddy has, allowed himself to be a little bit of a pawn in, some situations to, make a little bit of extra, off of this. So that
Okay.
aside, I think it makes sense. It's very interesting that Deborah Lee, who was once the president, and I want to say maybe CEO, or she's just president of
She
BET at a
was.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And when Bob Johnson first came out with this was revolutionary, for
Mm-hmm.
our community. And when it first came out, it wasn't just reruns of old shows. We had Teen Summit, we had 106 in Park, we
Mm-hmm.
had the basement, we had news, we had, it was um I don't want to say legitimate network for black people, but it was
More
to me
balanced.
more balanced, and it hit, you had sports, we
Mm-hmm.
had, commentary, we had Roland Martin, we had, all of these different pieces that spoke to the black experience outside of just the entertainment aspect. And what it appears that the network has flown into is purely entertainment, purely where reruns go to die, type of thing. And it's not really given us what the original intention was and what it
Mm-hmm.
used to. So for Tyler Perry and Byron Allen, I definitely see them bringing that back.
Mm-hmm.
um, I think Tyler Perry has more of the visibility and the weight, but we know he's on the entertainment aspect. So
Mm-hmm.
he may try and make it more entertainment focused. I
Mm-hmm.
think Byron Allen may have a better balance of, making sure we have the entertainment aspect, but also having the business and news, because there was a business show that used to be on BET back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So for
Jackie
these,
Reed. Jackie Reed was
yeah.
my is still my favorite crush. Had a crush on Jackie Reed. I think I met her one time. Did I meet her one time or saw her? I think I saw her one time somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Didn't know how to act.
Completely lost your mind. But it's one of those things where I think either of these two individuals, even though with BT Plus, I think a lot of people watch the shows on that, and I think apparently shows supposed to be pretty good. I'd said a long time ago, I'm not buying no more subscription services. I got enough. I can't add no more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it seems like BT Plus is going in an upward trajectory where BT minus, so to speak, BET proper,
Mm-hmm.
is more of your reruns of your old TV shows, your movies. There's no really any real innovation behind it. And I think the purpose of these two people expressing interest would be to get it back to its former glory and even, innovate even more. So that would be my thought on why these two individuals in particular would want to buy a controlling stake in BET.
um, BET Plus is doing well. My wife watches or wants to. She she's right in between. Reality shows.
Mm-hmm.
Really doesn't really get down with those all that much. There's a couple that she watches, but there are some shows on BET Plus that are pretty good. Some of them actually. Tyler Perry has a hand in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Tyler Perry is turning a corner in the type of content to where before it was kind of, black people,
Chitlin Circuit.
yeah, chicken circuit type stuff, right? To where now it's kind of turning into, like sitcom, back them, the sitcoms, the drama, without it being, so unbelievable, right? He's kind of mixing some current events and current, issues and challenges that black folks face, right? So
Mm-hmm.
seems like that's starting to do well. BET proper. I'm not sure personally what that would look like in my, if I ran BET. I'm not sure what the audience, not just black folks,
Mm-hmm.
just how we as humans look at media and where does that how does BET fit into that? Because it seems like we're all over the place right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, are we sports? Are we, which is good, variety, but at the same time, it's like, how do you build or rebuild a media entity around how we watch television right now? Because it seems like it's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're watching it live for like things that we normally watch it live for, like the Oscars,
Mm-hmm.
like sports, right? But even some of those, they're starting to be separated from regular television, right? So, Apple has trying to get MLS and MLB, and you got, some of these other ones got soccer, and it's not on regular television anymore. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
how does BET compete with those when it's, you just can't put it on BET at 8 o'clock when it's everybody's watching everything all over the place, right? Um, Byron Allen, he bought the Black News Channel. That was a channel that started about a year ago.
Hmm.
Had some financial issues, but you know, you think of your Mark Lamont Hills, you think of some of those names. You think of Roland Martin.
Ooh,
You
Team
know, he
Summit.
was.
That was a show I was thinking of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you said it. I think you
Oh,
said
I
Team
did.
Summit.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, you think of those people who are out there who could contribute to content that may bring people back to BET, but they're already out there. Like for instance, Roland Martin is already on, got his own streaming network, and it's like, why are we waiting for BET to come back? To where we could just go out and find this content. It's just we just have to work a little bit harder. Again, like you mentioned, you're not paying for the more streaming. You may have to bite the bullet and subscribe and all these other things. So it's I don't know. I honestly don't know what BET would look like under anybody. That would be engaging enough for people to come back to make it what we once known as BET when it kind
They
of
would have to have a hell of a marketing PR team. I think
mhm.
a large part of their budget would go to getting a dynamic team that knows the clientele and can use it to pull people back in, because otherwise, people already have their preconceived notions of BET, and that's black people, and then non-black people already have their preconceived notions
Which, well,
of
I
it
don't
as
think we've ever
well.
really cared about anyway.
No.
It's just,
No.
we are not a monolith.
Right.
And I think maybe BET is an example of that.
Right.
Is a use case
Yeah.
of we are not a monolith. So there's no one station that can appeal to
Encompass
all of
all the
us.
blackness. Yeah.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. And is that BET's charge?
Mhm.
I would assume that anybody looking to acquire it would look to make a conglomerate to where black people feel safe, or they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel entertained, they can laugh, they can joke. There's some guilty pleasures,
Yeah.
but at the same time, can it be that all encompassing thing? And I think that's the
No.
question, that BT is going, whoever takes it over, if even if Paramount decides to sell it, that's going to be their charge. And can it even be done
Can it be
anymore?
done? Yeah. That's hard. It's hard because if you if you try to be too broad, you're going to lose a bunch of people. If you try and be too narrow, you're only going to kind of have to
Get that
stay
niche.
in
Yeah.
that lane. And do they want to be niche, or do they want to be, for lack of a better term, mainstream?
Right, right.